Right, the other dish I'm cooking today is quesadilla, Tex-Mex dish. It's not Mexican, it's actually from Texas, so it's Tex-Mex. And here are the ingredients. Okay, so this is really simple. So I'm going to put some chilies in there because I like it spicy. I've taken a couple of the scallions. The ends of the stalks I'll end up using within the broth. I've got to get some pepper in them. I might put some of the pepper into the broth as well, just because I can. I've gone lazy. I bought some pre-grated cheese. Terrible chef. I saw those barbecue chicken breast pieces. I thought I'll just slice that up and stick in there as well. And tortillas. So let me get prepping. Right, so starting with my pepper. Very simple. Grab myself a toot bowl or a rubbish bowl, so I have wastage. So I'm just going to gently top and tail it. Of course, that pepper is perfectly usable, so I'm going to use that. Just gently cut down, avoiding the membrane. And that's left over, and no wastage, no seeds on my box, on my chopping board. Okay, so I want to cut this really fine, and that's going to be cooking very quickly, but still be slightly al dente. So if you look how thin that is, that's what I'm looking for. That will cook really quickly. So what I don't use today in the quesadilla, I'll end up using in the chicken broth this afternoon, and that will then give me a bit of extra color and flavor as well. Just bulk it out as well. Okay, so these have been washed. I'm just going to nip the tip. I always peel the outer leaf off, just general rule. Sometimes you can find soil or something that hasn't come off when you washed it, so I like to just peel the outer leaf off. It's a bit of a JJ thing. Okay, now for this one I'm just going to cut in nice thin strips. Again, you want everything thin because it's going to cook exceptionally fast in the actual cooking process. I'm going to keep that piece there. They can go into my stock for later. So just really quickly. And that's just going to add a bit of onion flavor, but also a bit of freshness. Right, so with the chili, I'm going to take the tip off. Now, because this is not very spicy, I'm going to use the seeds as well, but it is quite a big chili, so I'm going to chop it in half first, and then just cut it in nice thin strips. That way it will go further, but with every bite will get a bite of chili. What you can do with chili as well, if you're looking at using up chili, if you lightly roast it in the oven, score it, and then stick it in a bottle with half olive oil, half veg oil. After about a week, you have the most amazing flavored chili oil that you can then cook with as well. Okay, so here's my barbecue chicken. Now, normally this doesn't get barbecue chicken. It gets normal chicken or nothing at all. But it's quarantine. We can do what we want. All rules are now starting to go out the window. So just chop it nice and fine. Personally, I don't like the barbecue flavor in the chicken. But I know some of you would. So, which is why I've decided to buy it. So just cut nice and small. Just trim it a little bit smaller, and that is quite literally the end of my mise en place. So there's my mise en place. I found some of this hot dog relish, so it's tomato and pepper, so I'll stick that in my as a dipping sauce in place of salsa. and I can start cooking now. Okay, so I've got a nice flat frying pan. I want it on a medium heat, and I want to start with it being quite warm. So start with my first tortilla. This is a basic, any tortilla will do this, the plain white one. I start with a bit of cheese. You don't want to go too much because it's just going to fall apart. Remember, the cheese is going to melt, but you want to allow it to have some space on the edges, otherwise it's going to overflow. There we go, that's ample. So while I'm busy building this, the tortilla is cooking from the bottom. Let's get a few peppers on there. Essentially, you're just making a sandwich, a toasted cheese sandwich, just using tortillas instead. Just a little bit healthier. Get a few scallions in there. I like a bit of chili, so let's get some chili in there as well. Which is nice and spread out. And some barbecue chicken. Again, don't go too wild, you only need a little bit. Okay, make sure it's nice and flat. You get a second tortilla and you sandwich it down. Okay, so when I put the lid on, I noticed that the one tortilla was much bigger than the other, so I've just flipped it over, just because it's going to be easier a little bit later. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to gently push this down and just even it out a bit so it cooks evenly. But what I'm looking for is, excuse my pink egg lifter spatula, I'm going to lift it up. I'm going to look for a bit of toastiness down the bottom. That's pretty much what I'm looking for. So I want it to be nice and golden brown. When it's golden brown, I'm ready to turn it over. So the beauty thing about tortillas, it does take a bit of cooking, but you don't want to burn it. If it burns, it's just going to go too crispy. It's not going to be as nice. So this, once your pan is fully hot, the first one will take a while, but as you cook more and more, they'll take much quicker to cook. Okay, so I can smell the cheese now. It's starting to get a nice melting motion. If I open it slightly, you can see it's starting to melt there. So I'm just going to give it a quick flip. Beautiful golden brown on that side. Now the other side should literally take about 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'm ready to carve it up and eat it. Right, that's literally been about 2 minutes. Let's have a quick look. Beautifully golden brown. I'm ready to carve this up and eat it. Okay, so literally just carve this up now. And just like a pizza really, so a lovely crunch there. Now you can add anything you want. Personally, I like just cheese and chili. Some of it boring like that. But you can add what you want. It could be a great way to use up ingredients as well. Careful, that is quite hot. And grab my sauce. Now this could be guacamole, it could be sour cream, it could be anything you want. So into my sauce, and absolutely beautiful. Enjoy.